What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. Today, we're finally revisiting the Tombfinger, after it was nerfed, like 2 days after launch, over a year ago. I finally got over the rage and have built a new one. So, before we get into it and go over all this stuff and go over the story of how I got nerfed, because I definitely didn't forget that, make sure you're subbed and all that. Make sure you hit that like button down below, and let me know how you feel about this in the comments as well. Also got a live stream channel you can check out whenever you want to. Alright, so the Tombfinger primary. This is going to be basically thinking that you've never seen a Tombfinger primary before. We're going to go over in depth. We're going to also go over the history of how it got nerfed. Because of content creators, I guess. So, just briefly going over the Tombfinger primary. It's a kit gun you can get from the parts from Rude Zood on Fortuna. And you have to use a primary grip. So there's like Tremor, Palmaris, Splat, stuff like that. Oh, Splat's actually a loader. So the way this thing works, it's a semi-auto weapon. So we tap it, it fires off a slightly AoE shot. Has pretty cool sound effects. And you can even hold down the button to charge up to a big boom blaster. This thing has built-in radiation damage. And the parts that we've gone for in this video, and the one I probably recommend to you guys going forward, is going to be the Palmaris grip. This comes from Deimos. So get Deimos kit gun parts. The Tombfinger chamber, obviously. And the Splat loader. The Splat loader also comes from Fortuna. So we got 2 Fortuna parts and 1 Deimos part. Just to show you what the old version of this was before it got nerfed, like 2-3 days later. This is the old one. This is technically higher damage per shot, but we're going to go over what they nerfed and why this is basically just like irrelevant. Don't use this really slow one anymore. So we've got the Ladyfinger, which is a Borderlands reference. I'm a huge fan of Borderlands. And let's go over what happened at launch when this thing initially came out. So basically, here are some screenshots of my videos when the Tombfinger primary initially came out. Some of those are just like old throwback ones, some of the oldest videos on the channel. But basically, you can see how I say, my new favorite primary in the top one. And then you can't see the date on it. 3 days later, Tombfinger primary nerfed already. Kit gun, part rebalance, too bad we already built them. So, this is basically what happened. Last year, or whenever these things came out, these Tombfinger primaries, there were multiple content creators, not just me, that made videos on these. Some pretty big content creators as well. They made this one right here, the one we were just talking about. Tremor, Tombfinger, Splat. Max crit, max damage, it was all good. After 1 weekend, after everyone built these, everyone put their form on these, they did a giganto nerf, or air quotes, rebalance, to the Tombfinger kit gun parts. Here's the changes right here. These were done in 2020. Okay, so 2 years ago, actually. We have balanced primary kit gun parts only based on feedback that affect primary kit gun parts. So basically, the long and short of it is the one that everyone was using basically became half as fast. They nerfed how fast you could fire the super shot. The charge time on the other ones were rebalanced. And basically just they nerfed the one that was good. It takes twice as long to fire the shot off now. And that's all that you really need to know. So let's just show a comparison. This is with no fire rate mods. The one I'm recommending to you right now, AoE Explosion Shot. We're going to go the old one, which I have not even used in a long time. Just to show there's no fire rate mods on here either. That's double the charge time. And we can actually compare how long each of them take, and the damage difference per shot, because they were not really doing a great job when they rebalanced these numbers. So the one I'm going to recommend to you is on the left, and the one I'm not going to recommend to you is on the right. So we're looking at 0.5 charge rate versus 1.4. Basically triple the charge rate. We're getting a good amount of extra damage on the quick shot, but the main reason you use this weapon is the radial charge attack charge shot. So on that, it's 417 on the fast one versus 490 on the big one. Or the slow one. So, you're losing about 60 damage, or 70 damage, but you're getting much faster fire rate. Like triple the fire rate, double the fire rate, basically. So, let's show this works. We'll show some Steel Path gameplay. We'll talk about if you should use this or not. Another thing that also kind of hurts this weapon is that, even though it is an AoE launcher, the AoE shots do not go through walls. See right there? It should be killing those guys with this much AoE, but it does not. Okay, so let's do a normal shot. This is with no Riven, no buffing at all. You know, about 4,600 damage, it yeets them. Let's do the charge shot. Should take care of all those guys. This is no prime firestorm. And it's just a pretty decent weapon, honestly, you know? Now, we are relying on 100 munitions pretty, I'd say, somewhat hard. We're relying on a little bit here, I guess. Although, the nice thing about this weapon is that Galvanized Savvy, or whatever it's called, Galvanized Aptitude, actually works. On a bunch of weapons it doesn't work on it, but hey, it works on this one. So yeah, this is the build. It's pretty standard if you've seen the viral HM builds. You, of course, could go for a 60-60 elemental to increase your status chance. But with critical delay, we've got 114% crit chance on the quick shot, and the charge shot, I think, is the same crit chance, yeah. 114 on that. So you technically can see some red crits with no Riven, since we've got 114 giving us some orange crits, and the Vigilante supplies giving us some red crits sometimes. Of course, you could switch the Exilus mod for maybe projectile flight speed, which maybe help a little bit, or something else if you prefer that. And as well, if you're fighting, like, low-level enemies, you don't need Hunter Munitions, you can put Prime Firestorm. Prime Firestorm does work on this thing. It just increases the radius to like 10 range or something like that. And we've got Primary Merciless, and then since this is a kit gun, it can use a second Arcane. We've got options like Pax Seeker, Pax Charge, etc., etc. I'm just going to go with Pax Charge. It's so nice. You never have to reload. It becomes a battery weapon. It's not normally a battery weapon. That actually gets created from the Arcane. So let's get into some Steel Path gameplay here. We're going to show an Acolyte and all the same stuff. We're basically just using no buffing. That's the videos going forward. We can show a quick Riven showcase at the end here if you guys like to see that. But yeah, this is a viral HM build against an Acolyte. Not a good build for an Acolyte, but hey, it's getting the job done. This is a pretty easy weapon to obtain. No like relic farming, no... I guess you have to rank up with Fortuna, which can be kind of annoying. But, this is a weapon you can just build yourself, customize your play style. And yeah, it's clearing out Grineer pretty easily. These are Steel Path Grineer. They're some of the tankiest enemies in the game. Of course, if you waited around in a survival or did a longer kind of mission, they will go higher level. But as far as missions you can click on, this is some of the highest in the game right here. So, as far as different stat stacks we have, this thing has built-in puncture and impact, and the direct hits have a forced impact proc. You might be like, well, how about internal bleeding? That basically a power creep version of HM for impact procs. The way that you're using this weapon, you will not be getting many impact procs because you're not going for direct hits. So as you can see right there, that guy was not directly hit by my explosion shot. No impact proc on him. Hunter Munitions is much better than internal bleeding on this weapon, just because the AoE doesn't have forced impact. Only the direct hit has impact. It's that easy. So, yeah, I would recommend this to you, but the thing is, if you already have the meta AoE stuff like Brahmazar, Ogress, etc., Envoy, this is a waste of time. This is a giant waste of time. You basically would just want to use this thing because the sound effects are cool. You like the potential of having a single target weapon and an AoE weapon in the same same slot. And also that guy bugs out for the rest of the mission. The enemy right there becomes immune. I don't know why, but it happened. So yeah, it's a kit gun, so that's kind of nice. Let's go over some weapon grades here. Even though I said I wouldn't really recommend it to you, it is overall a pretty good weapon. The mob clear is an A, because the same weapons that are on the scale are like, the Mark 1 Bratton's got like, what, D tier, F tier mob clear. This thing is like, fast as like probably 5 or 6 Mark 1 Brattons stapled together. The Acolyte kill speed is B. Now, of course, it didn't look that great in the footage because this is not a build for Acolytes. Like I've always said, if you want to do an Acolyte killing build, run Corrosive. The Hunter Munitions procs, you got to get them really stacked up nicely to actually kill that Acolyte. Max status potential. Like I said, we got built-in puncture and impact on the shots, but we've also got built-in radiation. So technically pretty high status potential, but when you're spamming the AoE shots, you're not really getting that many. And this is not meant to be a status weapon right here, as we have the max crit version right here. You could technically run a status version, but I've never actually tried that, and I'm not sure it would work out that great, to be honest. Overall score of a B+. It could have just been a B, which is an above average weapon, but I'd say it's a little bit above an above average weapon. This thing has good Riven stats, it has good Riven dispo. You can get a pretty nasty Riven for this thing, but, do you really need it that badly? Probably not, is going to be my assumption here. It's up to personal preference, like I said. So let's get a Riven on here, see if I can fit it onto this build, and we'll see what we got going on. I don't even remember what this Riven is. All right, so we've got Tombfinger Criticon, giving us increased multi-shot and increased crit chance. Let's see if I can fit it on. Can't fit it on, so we're going to take off... let's take off this. Can it fit now? It cannot fit now. How about now? Math is hard. Okay, so we're gonna take off the Bane mod. We're gonna run against some random enemy faction. Basically, the crit chance does not go up. If you have a crit chance Riven, it can go to 168, so that's kind of cool. Probably should have planned this out before, huh? Alright, so these guys are going to be the Corrupted, and it's just more multi-shot with my Riven. Now, of course, you could get a God Roll Riven for this thing with, like, crit damage, multi-shot, crit chance, fire rate even, but, don't you got anything better to do with your day than get a God Roll Tombfinger Riven? Maybe you do. Alright, so let's get some galvanized stacks here and see what we're dealing with. You know, it's not too bad. I've seen better, I've seen worse. You know, it's not a great Riven. I've had this Riven for like multiple years. Yeah, let me know, guys, how you guys feel about this in the comments down below. Do you think this is worth it? Do you think that the nerf was justified? Of course it wasn't. If you say the nerf was justified, I will find you. But yeah, you know, pretty good. As far as like boring space weapons, this isn't too boring with space weapon. I do wish the AoE went through walls though. That would be nice. I'll see you guys tomorrow in another video. Thanks for the support. See you live on Twitch as well. And take it easy, guys. Thank you so much. Peace.